So this standard is ARCH.7.RP.A.2.A.7c. The learning target is I can decide whether two quantities are in a proportional relationship by testing for equivalent ratios or graphing on a coordinate plane. So I wanted to make sure that you understood what was meant by a coordinate plane when it is brought up, which it will be many times in your math future. So we're going to define a coordinate plane. It is a grid or graph paper on which any point can be identified by an ordered pair called x, y. X is your horizontal movement, Y is your vertical movement. Supplies use graph paper for this lesson. So let's go over a brief tutorial for identifying an ordered pair, also called a point. So you should create this for yourself if you have not ever done so. You want to create a horizontal line called an x-axis, and it should look like a number line with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. to infinity. 0.0 should be, 0, should be your point called the origin, and as you move this way along a number line, your integers are going to look exactly the same as you would see on a number line. That's called the x-axis. Then you have a vertical number line called a y-axis. So from the origin, again, you start and from 0 and you count. You don't always count by ones. As long as they're equally separated by equal amounts. Then in this case we're just separating the squares by units of 1. You could count up 2, 4, 6, 8. But for learning purposes, let's just label this by ones. And -1, -2, -3, -4. And you can see it's a number line turned vertical. So a coordinate plane means you're going to use coordinates. Coordinates are an x value and a y value. And together, an x value and a y value will allow you to create a point somewhere here. So you can find where you are on this coordinate plane when you have an x and a y value. So for example, if you have an x value of 4 and a y value of 7, you're going to start at the origin. You're going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, because x direction is horizontal. And then you're going to move up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you're going to make a little circle, which is your point. And then you're going to label it 4, 7. So that point is in quadrant 1 because the 4 and the 7 are positive. If you wanted to put some point in quadrant 2, you would need to have, say, a negative value for x and a positive value for y. And let's see how that works with using the same numbers but a different sign for 4. You start at 0, 0, and you go backwards 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a -4. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We put that point here, and you would label that -4, 7. We'll just mark that out so you don't get confused. And that is the label of that point. Here, if you wanted a point in quadrant 3, you'd have to have a negative x value and a negative y value. So I put negative, negative. And if you wanted a point in quadrant 4, or you saw a point in quadrant 4, then the x value should be positive starting from 0, 0, and the y value would be negative because you're going down below 0. So our next task is to plot the points for two triangles and decide if there is a proportional relationship. So first we're going to plot the coordinates 1, 3. So here's 0, 0, our origin. 1 is over 1 up 3. 0, 0 is here. And over 1 up 0 is here. So we have a triangle that looks like that. Our next coordinates are 1, 3, over 1 up 3. So we have our point here. Over 3 up 3, so we count from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And our last point is 3, 9. So we start from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we'll connect those. And we have two triangles, and we want to determine if there's a proportional relationship. So remember, possibly in the last video, we're going to look at the length of the first triangle, which is 3, the length of the second triangle, which is 6, the width of the first triangle, which is 1, and the width of the second triangle, which is 2. And we ask ourselves, what would you multiply by 3 to get to 6? 2. Now, if you can use this same scale factor here, 1 times 2, if that equals 2, then yes, you have a proportional relationship. And remembering our learning target is deciding whether two quantities are in a proportional relationship. We tested for equivalent ratios, and we also graphed it on a coordinate plane. And that concludes this lesson.